Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you inviting me on. Before I get started, can you just clarify you can see my screen as I put it into presentation mode?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, hi everyone. Like Joe said, my name is Jack Groot. I'm a regional sales manager with PacSize. I live in the suburbs of Chicago, but I support all of Illinois and all of Wisconsin. Been with the company for 7 years now and been working closely with Joe and the GLGA that entire time. In fact, PacSize's relationship with the GLGA goes back about 8.5, 9 years, and we're proud to be members alongside many of you. So Joe asked me to join today's call to talk about some of the emerging trends we're seeing in both print and fulfillment. So during our time together, there's four main topics I wanted to cover. I promise I'll be short, sweet, and to the point, but we'll talk a little bit about optimizing warehouse space. I'll go into some of the sustainable solutions we offer. We'll talk about reallocating labor, and then we'll wrap up with freeing up cash flow utilizing PacSize. If you have questions throughout, please put them in the chat, and then we'll have time at the end to do any questions and answers. All right. So in terms of optimizing warehouse space, I'm sure you're very familiar with the real estate market right now. Continues to go up. Mortgage rates are higher than ever. And so a lot of my customers and potential customers have told me recently that expanding their current facility or moving to a new facility is just not something that's in the cards. So they've been tasked with basically using what they currently have and doing it more efficiently. So the two pictures on the screen here, those came from current customers prior to them having PacSize. And if your facility looks anything like this, rest assured you're not alone. But our goal is to free up a lot of that racking space by moving you to a just-in-time production of your corrugated cartons. So instead of buying and stocking cartons like you see here on the screen, you're going to make them using bales of fanfold material. So moving to more of a just-in-time approach, we typically see that we can drastically cut your corrugated usage. We also often find that by exploring how you currently pack out today and proposing some more efficient ways of doing it, it's not uncommon for us to eliminate pack stations. So in your current pack out process, let's say you have 4 stations today. If we can automate some of those tasks on the front end, things like labeling or potentially bottom sealing cartons, it's not uncommon for us to eliminate half of those pack stations. So it is definitely a case by case basis, but that is something we would look at during our diagnostic process. And then ultimately, what we want to allow you to do is repurpose your racking. So if we were able to cut your inventory in half, what would that mean to you? Could you bring in some additional revenue generating equipment? Would you potentially use it for receiving? That's our goal is to free up space on your floor and allow you to use it however you see fit. Now, when we talk about implementing sustainable solutions, like I said earlier, I've been doing this for 7 years. So originally, when I joined PacSize, we would bring up sustainability. I don't want to say we were laughed out of the room, but it wasn't something that people took really in consideration as they were trying to greenlight projects. Well, fast forward to 2024, and I would say the vast majority of my engagements do have a sustainability factor, and a few projects specifically really have been tied to sustainability as the main driver to implement PacSize. So I think this picture does a really nice job of showcasing how we can impact specifically a fulfillment environment within print. So the image you see on the left, that was a customer of ours prior to implementing PacSize. Probably looks similar to your plant floor today. These were various orders going out in the best box sizes they had available. And you can see the amount of void fill, whether that be craft paper or air pillows. But when the product wasn't truly right size to the carton, they were forced to put in a lot of extra materials. So the picture you see on the right, that was after. So that was after we implemented PacSize. We took those same orders, and you can see the toaster, for example, that now fits in a perfect box. You don't need to use any void filler. And then in general, there's just a lot more items excuse me, a lot more space on the pallet. So what does that mean to you? It definitely means less money spent on corrugated, less money spent on void filler materials. But from a sustainability point of view, it's likely less trucks coming and going from your dock doors. So for UPS and FedEx, let's say they stage 2 drop trailers today. By getting more items on the truck, maybe you get away with 1 trailer. Or if they have 2 pickups or drop offs each day, maybe you can get away with one. So if you think about less trucks coming and going from your dock door, that's definitely less carbon emissions in the air. And those are typically the type of sustainable factors we're looking at. So if this is something that you're curious about learning more about, we have a sustainability calculator on our website, and I'd be happy to walk you through how exactly that works. All right, reallocating labor. So this really became important coming out of COVID. I'm sure all of you are well aware it's getting more and more difficult to get people in the door, and just as importantly, it's hard to keep them. So if a neighbor across the street is offering 5 cents more per hour, we're seeing more often than not, your employees are willing to make that jump. So how do we make your operation more efficient? We look at what we call the 3 T's. So time, touch, and travel specific to your packaging process. And there's a lot going on this slide, but essentially what we're trying to get across on the left-hand side here, we're just saying we have some really cool technology. We've been in business for over 20 years, and we have some of the most unique and differentiated automated packaging solutions in the market. But really what differentiates us and what excites me about my job are these 2 buckets over here on the right, specifically in the middle here, the process and workflow. So we're going to take our time on the front end to truly understand how you do things today, what's working well, what's not working well, and then we can tailor a pack size solution to fill in the gaps. And whether that's putting things closer to the dock doors to eliminate travel, or potentially automating certain things on the front end, like label application or carton sealing, we want to take touches out of the process. And then ultimately, we want to impact time or throughput. So we'll take a look at how long does it take you guys to pack out an order from start to finish, and then we'll show you what it could look like in a future state with pack size. And then the last piece of all that is the software. So right now in the current state, I would guess you're probably tracking carton usage via some sort of spreadsheet. Maybe it's in your ERP system. But once you've implemented pack size, you're going to have all sorts of data at your fingertips in real time. So things like the amount of corrugated used per carton, who made it. It allows you to forecast more effectively. So most of our customers tell us they have a lot more information to make educated business decisions that they didn't have prior. And then the last topic Joe had asked me to talk about was just freeing up cash flow. So if you think about those images you saw on the first slide of all the various corrugated cartons that were stocked on the pallet racks, that's essentially cash burning a hole in your pocket. So we want to help you buy corrugated more efficiently. And the way we do that is a bale of fanfold, which you see down in the bottom left, if you can see my cursor. By buying 2, 3, maybe 4 sizes of fanfold material, we can allow you to make any size or style box your business needs. So as part of our diagnostic process, we'll look at what's the smallest carton you'd ever need, what's the largest carton you need, and then we'll come to you with the recommendation of, okay, using these bales of fanfold material, we can replicate everything in your mix today and give you the ability to make any iteration you need. And then probably the more important part is the second bullet here, make what you need when you need it. So gone are the days of minimum order quantities where your stock box supplier tells you, hey, I know you only need 75 cartons for this job, but we're going to make you buy 100. And then those 25 cartons just sit on your pallet racks, just collecting dust. That goes away. So if you need 37 cartons, you can make those 37 cartons in a few minutes, the morning of, the day before, or even in real time. So that kind of flip in how you purchase and manage your corrugated is going to free up a lot of cash for you to then invest back in your business, pay off existing loans, use it however you see fit. And this is one of the biggest reasons customers choose us and then rave about us after implementation. So that was a lot of information in a short amount of time. But at this time, I'd love to open it up. Joe, if there's any questions, happy to address those.
Great information, Jack. For the purpose of those that are on the call, could you talk a little bit about success stories? Oh, I know that there's several, but I think wide format is a great application for pack size. Also think fulfillment, those that are doing some sort of fulfillment is a great fit. Talk a little bit about some of the success stories you've had.
Absolutely. So I can focus on just some of your members, likely because that's who your peers are familiar with anyways. But Ticey Printing in Oregon, Wisconsin, they've joined with us about 12 months ago, and it was for both their fulfillment side of the house as well as their wide format. And with wide format, it's not uncommon for print companies to simply be using like a Zune cutter or something they already had on the plant floor. That was the best way they could cut corrugated sheets to make right-sized cartons. Well, once they've implemented pack size, they now have a much more effective way to make the cartons they need when they need them with limited amount of scrap. So Jason and the team over at Ticey have been thrilled with the solution that they've implemented. And then when I think of someone who's had us for maybe a little bit longer and more on the fulfillment side of things, I think of Yunker down in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and they've been partnered with us for, gosh, probably over 5 years now, and continue to grow the partnership, more and more volume running through the pack size machine. And really a driver for them was outbound freight savings. So if you think about your UPS or your FedEx bill, if you can shrink the size of a carton through pack size, that is just money back in your bank account. Whether you're eating that bill or you're charging it back to your customers, either way, your outbound freight bill will decrease drastically the more you can decrease the size of the carton. So those are just two examples that come to mind, Joe.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, when I go on visits, often I'll see a pack size piece of equipment, and I didn't even know the company had really engaged with pack size, but I think it's a great solution, especially if you're, again, trying to have specialty boxes or reducing the size of the box so it fits with the DIMS. I guess it's still called DIMS, right?
Sure.
The
Yep.
dimensional configuration for UPS and FedEx to save money and space on trucks. So I just think it's a great application for a whole lot of printers in the marketplace.
Absolutely. And one perk of being a GLGA member is that we waive our standard installation fee, which is roughly a $10,000 savings for any of your members. And several have been able to take advantage of that over the last probably 5 to 6 years. So just know that if you're a current GLGA member, majority of the upfront capital is waived as kind of a perk of being part of Joe's organization.
Excellent. By the way, it's not mine, it's the members. But we really value the pack size relationship that we have. And I think it's pretty meaty in terms of the give back to the member. Are there any questions? Well, Jack, I really appreciate you presenting today. I appreciate everybody's time and participating. We'll send this video out here in the next couple days. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give Jack a call or an email, and we'll be sending that information out here in the near future. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Joe.